Good morning, guys. I'm on my way home from work. Something just popped into my head earlier today, and I really wanted to talk about it. I don't know why, but I just felt like talking about it because it's something that I found very interesting today. I'll probably forget about it tomorrow, but today it's on my mind, and it got me wondering. I want to talk about the way we are perceived by others. Okay? Now, it's a funny thing because all of us, we all have an idea of who we are as a person. If we're lucky, we have a really good idea, a really good generalization of who we are as a person. A lot of us, I'm pretty sure we like to think of ourselves as, a good person, a decent person, or maybe we try to be a decent person, or we want to be a good person. We generally notice our flaws too. Maybe we don't talk about it as much because we might be in denial or maybe ashamed of some of our flaws. We don't like that we have certain flaws like selfishness or arrogance, things like that. But sometimes we can be perceived by others, by the outside world, by our friends, by our family, in ways that we don't even look at ourselves. And it'll just kind of throw you for a loop. And I'll give you a little example from my end. Every now and then, I'd like to get together with a bunch of gentlemen who I refer to as my brothers from other mothers. And we like to do a video chat on Facebook. We do this at least once a month. And this is something very recent too. Like before this, we maybe did it like once a year. But lately, in the last 3 or 4 months, we've been trying to do this at least once a month. And last month, I think we did it twice, So we like to get together just to talk about what's going on. But most of the times, we keep it real light and we're just making jokes the whole time, I had a very few conversations with a couple of my brothers where, we started to talk about, heavy stuff, our emotions. We started to talk about God. Even at the end of the conversation, we had a prayer with each other, and I thought that was beautiful. It's something that, I've known these guys. Some of these guys I've known for more than 25 years now. Some of these gentlemen I met when I was 17. Others I met in my early 20s, and we've known each other for 20 plus years. So the fact that now we're at a place where we're comfortable enough to pray with each other, I don't know what that says about society or us as people, but I'm so grateful that we got to this point where we can actually pray together, and not be ashamed about it, But anyway, that's besides the point. What I'm getting at is that there was a part in the conversation where we were just we were talking, and somebody was saying an F word or just speaking the way we normally speak, and somebody noticed that I was sort of taking a back seat to the profanity, and I mentioned I'm trying not to talk that way anymore, because now that I have children, they're like sponges. They hear everything, they listen to everything, they respond to everything, and they repeat everything. And then one of my boys, he was like, oh yeah, Mike used to be the biggest cursor out of all of us. He'd be saying curses all the time, and it was just funny. Everybody in the group was sort of laughing, but in agreement that this was a thing, that Michael is a profanity-laden human being. That every other word is a profane word. And I used to curse like crazy. And I remember during the conversation, I started to laugh because I thought it was funny. But then I was taken aback a little bit because they were not joking. They were serious. And I was like, oh, wow, because I know that there are people in the group that, speak very openly, sometimes very crudely, sometimes very offensively, myself included. But I always thought we were kind of all kind of equal in that way of speaking, in that way of communication. But it turns out that I was considered to be on another level than everybody else in the group. And I was very, very, surprised by that, because I've always known that, yes, there is a certain way that I speak that has a lot of shock value, can be very offensive, can be very ridiculous, make people roll their eyes, make people very upset. And this was the way I was in my 20s and early 30s, always wanting to, just to be ridiculous. Just be that ridiculous guy that says the ridiculous thing that makes everybody go, what? What did you just say? Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. But I really never thought of myself as the loudest one, or the worst one, or the most profane character in our group. So it was kind of funny to hear that from the group. And then I joined into the conversation saying, yeah, man, I curse all the time. I used to curse all the time. I curse like crazy. The funny thing is, like, I curse so much, like, I make Tupac blush, and then they started cracking up, because that's funny. I've never met Tupac. He's never met me. And I honestly don't know how much he curses. But, when you say something like that, obviously everybody knows it's a joke, so they laugh at it. So it was just really funny. It was one of those moments where I realized I know who I think I am. I know who I want to be. And I know how I want people to perceive me. And I also know that those things don't always or ever align themselves with each other. They never tend to coalesce. They don't come together. One person can look at me and say, he's a jerk. Another person can look at me and say, he's a funny guy. Another person can look at me and say, he's really smart. And another person can look at me and say, he's kind of dumb. Like, he says a lot of dumb things, He does a lot of dumb things. And one person could call me really, really creative. And another person could call me really boring and dull. And it just got me thinking. I was just like, wow, it's really funny. Sometimes the way we look at ourselves is not the way the world looks at us. And it got me thinking, how do I want the world to see me? And that kind of blew my mind, because for the most part of me, when I overanalyzed it in my head, I told myself that the only people that I truly care about their opinion of me and who I am as a person are my wife and 2 kids. They're the people that I really want to see me in the most positive light, because they're the ones that are going to be in my life for all time. And they're in my life right now 24/7. So if they look at me in a negative light, it's going to break me. It's going to hurt me. And, there are times where, I'm not exactly the best person in my wife's eyes or my kids' eyes because of something I said or done. And that hurts me so much, because whenever anybody in my home is upset or disappointed with me, it's completely justified and warranted. And that's what hurts me. Not that somebody's disappointed in me or not too happy with me right now. It's the fact that I put that out there. I'm the reason. So if I'm angry that somebody's angry with me, I need to be angry with myself. I need to be mad at myself, and I need to correct that. And then there's that part of me that sometimes is too tired to correct any of my mistakes, or too angry to want to correct any of my mistakes. And I just want to be forgiven, and I want everybody to move on, and let's go to the next thing. All right, can we smile again? But I gotta stop that. But the truth is, as much as I say that, I'm deeply lying on the inside, because there is the huge part of me that does care and want the outside world, i.e. my friends and family, extended friends, extended family, I do want them to see me in a positive light. Yes, I want people to know all of me and to know the good and the bad, but at the end of the day, I've always wanted people to like me. You know, and when I was younger, I feel like I cared more and I did more to try to get people to like me than I do now. Now it's not that I don't care, I just care less. I care less than I did before because it's exhausting. It's exhausting trying to get people to like you. You know, people are gonna like you whether you want them to or not. They're gonna hate you whether you want them to or not, and there's nothing you can really do about it. You know. And I've always had this insecurity about who I am and how I'm perceived. So the only gratification I've ever gotten out of my life from people is when they say I like Mike, or Mike is cool, Mike is funny, Mike is so much fun. Like, these are the things that kept me going, you know. And whenever somebody didn't like me, back in the day I used to try to like get to the root of it. Like, why don't you like me? Like, what did I do wrong? And I try to correct that. Now I'm getting too old, and I don't feel like correcting anything anymore. And that's not good. That's not a good thing. I'm not saying that I need to be that way. I need to correct my mistakes, and I try. It's just I keep making them, or I keep making new mistakes, and I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of making mistakes, period. Whether they're old or new, I'm tired of making mistakes because I hate the repercussions that come from those mistakes. And I'm just like, can't I just get everything right for once so nobody is mad at me and nobody's disappointed with me and everybody loves me and everybody doesn't hate me, and it can just be one positive giant Michael bubble. And that's another part of my personality that I hate, is my extreme selfishness, to want everything to go my way, and when it doesn't go my way, I just sort of like give up. But that's another reason why I don't make plans with people. Like, I used to be the guy that makes plans. All right, we're all meeting here at this time, I'll see you there. And then after a while, you know, people break plans or make other plans, and then my self-esteem will be hurt, and you know, it's a problem. But it's a me problem, and I ended up projecting that to other people, which is wrong. Like, they should not have to worry about my me problem. I'm the one that's got to deal with me and my nonsense. But yeah, at this point I'm just rambling. It was just funny. It was just funny when I started to realize that the way I look at myself may not be the way others look at me. And if I were to sit down and write my life story, and somebody else were to do my biography for me, it might be two separate books. And if I got two other people to do it, it might be, you know, 4 different books about the same person, which I find hilarious. And that would be the case with anybody. You know, when you talk to somebody about someone, you're gonna get one version of who that person is from that person, and then you'll get another version from someone else. But yeah, like, I'm selfish. I kind of just want everybody to feel the same way about me. Either you all like me or you all don't like me. And either way, I want it to be completely justified. In my life now, I know that there are people that don't really like me. And for the most part, I'm going to say, 100%. I was going to say 99%, but no, that's not true. If there's anyone in my life that does not like who I am as a person, I'm sure it's 100% warranted. I've done or said something that was extremely hurtful to a point where it's just like, I can never forget that. I can never get over that. And I can never forgive that. I still have people in my life. I keep Sometimes I'll feel like enough time has passed that I can move on from something, and the other people in my life, they can move on from that too. And then I find out through the grapevine that, yo, they're still upset with you. They still bring it up. I'm like, really? Wow. You never know the impact you have on another human being. That's why I'm trying my best now to have positive impacts on people, because I don't want to spread that negativity. I've already done so much of that, and it sucks. I want to be better. I don't know how, but I'll keep trying. But, I guess I got to start at home. Alright, that's enough. I'm home. I'm parking. Thank you guys for listening to my ramble, keeping me awake throughout this ride. I didn't even have to drink the rest of my Red Bull. I had a little sip and that was it. Anyway, I love you guys. God bless you. Be safe.